YouTube, what's going on? Thank you for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be talking about hipfire kills in Modern Warfare 2, how to get them easily and efficiently so that you can keep moving through challenges, because this year we have multiple weapons that require hipfire kills to unlock gold camouflage, including snipers, which can be super annoying. It can be a little bit difficult, but as someone who's unlocked all 204 camos currently in the game, including Orion, I've got a bunch of tips and tricks that I can share with you right now that's going to make things much easier. The first tip is around what game modes to be jumping into. It might sound like a simple thing, but you're going to get hipfires much more efficiently if you're in close proximity to your opponent, so the smaller the map that you can be on, the more engagements that you can get into, the easier this challenge is going to be overall, and therefore, obviously, shipment is the ideal place where you want to be. Now, we've had shipment 24/7 in the game for much of the last month, and it's looking very unlikely that they'll remove that in the near future, or if they do, it's likely that they'll swap it out for shootouts, which is again a very small map, even though it's much bigger than shipment. So I definitely recommend, if either of these playlists of the game, hop into shipment 24/7, shootouts 24/7, shoot the ship, whatever it may be in the near future, so that you can maximize your chances of getting multiple engagements in close quarters and work through this challenge as fast as possible. If these aren't available, I'd recommend jumping into Hardpoint. This is purely because it is the most active game mode on the game, in my opinion. The spawns are super consistent. They get people moving around the map. You know that people are going to be engaging on the objective, so you know you can work your position around the objective to pick up kills on people pushing in, people pushing out, and that's going to be a really viable backup option if you can't play shootouts or shipment. The next tip I'm going to talk about is how to build your weapon. I'm going to head over to an MCPR class that I built earlier and show you what was my kind of setup when I was working on getting these hipfire kills, when I was working towards gold here. I like to prioritize hipfire accuracy and movement speed. This is for two very simple reasons. Obviously, I want to hit where I'm shooting, and I want to be able to close the gap as quickly as possible. It's important to remember when you're working with the snipers, the hip recoil accuracy, it's just not really relevant or important with these single bolt snipers, where when you take your shot, you have to reload, you have to take a moment to cock the weapon. So it really makes this recoil and the time that the gun will take to recenter itself genuinely irrelevant to the actual engagement that you're in. Chances are you'll probably have died, or you'll have recentered yourself before you've actually finished rechambering your bolt. So it's really not important. Focus only on hipfire accuracy. You can see from my build here, I've got a barrel that adds hipfire accuracy and damage range. Obviously, I want to be able to hit my target, but I want to make sure that it's going to hurt when I do still. A lot of the short barrels, they're great for hipfire, but they take off loads of the damage that you can do. I have the FTAC Grimline laser. Now, this is the last of the hipfire lasers, but there are a few that add hipfire accuracy, recoil control. This one even adds sprint to fire speed, which helps that initial pull up of the gun when you go from your tac sprint into actually engaging. I've taken off the sniper scope in favor of an iron sights. This increases the movement speed and the mobility. Yeah, it hurts your range and your accuracy according to the stats, but that's purely based on when you're scoped in. Obviously, those stats are going to be worse when you don't have the magnifier that you previously had. Then I've got a stock as well. This increases my aim walking speed, so when I'm walking around the map, I can be moving a little bit faster, make sure that I get to those engagements and that my character feels smooth and not sluggish. And then finally, on my rear grip, I've got the Cronin Cheetah, which increases the sprint to fire speed too. Again, losing some recoil control, adding some aim down sight speed. Neither of them really relevant. I won't be aiming down sight. The recoil doesn't matter. And a build like this or similar to this is what I'd recommend. Again, if you don't have the rear grip unlocked, you could simply swap out the standard 10-round magazine for a 5-round, which is going to give you a lot of sprint to fire speed and stuff too, something that you get from this grip anyway. So you can make up the kind of speeds regardless of what attachments you have unlocked or don't. I do also have these attachments tuned, which can be of a benefit to you. They're not crucial. I wasn't playing around with the tuning when I actually got the hipfire kills with this, but they're definitely beneficial. On my rear grip, I've improved the sprint to fire speed, haven't played with the recoil steadiness or the aim down sight speed, neither of them particularly relevant. On this stock, I've added aim walking steadiness, so that again, my crosshair isn't bouncing around when I'm walking around the map. And then I've increased that aim walking speed as well, which just helps me generally rotate faster. You can't tune the iron sight or the laser. And then the barrel, again, I've increased the aim walking speed and increased the damage range. Aim down sight speed, not relevant. Damage range, the changes are minute, but it might be helpful, so why not add it? It's a very similar principle if you're working with any of the submachine guns, assault rifles, any of the other automatic weapons that require hipfire challenges. You can see on my Baz P here, one of the last ones that I did, I have a long barrel that increases hipfire accuracy. The hipfire laser, once again, we got hip recoil, hipfire, and sprint to fire speed. A stock that increases my sprint to fire speed and my hip recoil control. Hip recoil control a little bit more important on these fully automatic weapons, purely because you're going to get a lot of kick while you're working with them. So prioritize this more if you're working outside of the sniper rifle category. Then rear grip, I'm focusing on the sprint to fire speed, and the underbarrel for a little bit more recoil control, but again, one that focuses on hipfire accuracy in the X10 drop grip. Next, I'm going to talk about your overall loadout, what class setup you load up into the game with, because there are definitely perks to taking certain tacticals, certain lethals and perks over other ones, which I'm going to run through right now. First up, I run the flash grenade. This is purely because they are so powerful in this game. They are so blinding and they last so long, even when people are using battle hardened. So when you throw a flash, you tag someone up, you're going to know that you have the safety 9 times out of 10 to be able to run around that corner. You're going to have a second or two to steady yourself, and this is hopefully going to put you in a better position to get better engagements when you're going for hip fires. Next, I've got the drill charge. The reason reason I choose the drill charge over anything else, because anything else really is designed to actually kill your opponents. The drill charge, I use it to root people out. So if someone's camping in a room, I can throw the drill charge at the wall next to them, wait at the door or the corner, hope that they run out towards me, and I'm already set up for a hip fire as soon as they jump out in my face. On the perk packages, there's a bunch of different ones that you could select. I run extra tactical so that I have extra flashes, double time so that I can move about the map quickly, fast hands so that I can use those tacticals quickly, I can reload quickly, it doesn't stunt me at all, and then ghost so that if I'm hanging around any corners or sort of loitering around camping areas, waiting for people to push out of spawns into me, I'm undetectable on any UAVs, and it just helps me give myself a little bit more of an advantage in this situation where it's already stacked against me. On top of that, I also use dead silence. Again, this really helps when I'm pushing up on campers, pushing up on spawn points, trying to take people by surprise, or even on the likes of shootouts when you've got someone set up going for long shots down mid, you can pop your dead silence, get up behind them and steady yourself at a close distance, get your hip fire away and get the kill, all before they even know you're there. The next tip we have is actually around one of your settings. If you head into interface and scroll down into advanced, we actually have this setting here called center dot. Now this has been added to the game as an accessibility setting designed to give a center point to the screen to help people avoid motion sickness when they're playing the game, moving around the map very quickly. But if you add it on, you can actually see you've got this white dot on your screen at all times. Even when I die, the white dot is still there. By ADS, it goes out at the very last second. You can play with this and have it on a regular size, which is pretty small, all the way up to largest, which is actually pretty chunky in the middle of your screen. I like the middle ground of large, but if you keep your eye on this center dot, you'll see that it almost perfectly lines up with your laser on your gun. So you know it's going to be a pretty consistent aid. If your center dot is aiming at someone, then your laser probably is too, which means if you're close to the opponent, there's a good chance of you hitting your shot. The next is going to be crouching. If you get the opportunity to crouch in your engagements, then do so. If you see when I'm crouching and uncrouching here, my crosshair actually tightens up just a little bit. When you're shooting from the hip, you're using a mechanic called bloom. Basically, this means whenever your bullet flies out, it's going to go somewhere within this crosshair reticle. The bigger the crosshair reticle is, the more room there is for the bullet to go in theory, meaning the more room there is for it to miss its target. And of course, on the other hand, if you're crouched and your crosshair is a little bit tighter, there's less room for that bullet to go. It's going to be a little bit more accurate. It might only be fractional, marginal, but that can be the difference between you winning the gunfight, getting the hipfire kill, or not. These are all of the tools that I use to maximize the speed at which I can get hipfire kills on my weapons. And if you've learned anything or this video has been at all useful, then please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 700 subs. We have a video tomorrow on one of the coming changes in Modern Warfare 2 Season 2. And finally, if there are any other camo challenges that you're struggling with, then comment down below. Let me know what they are. I'd be happy to do a video on them and chuck it into the upload schedule. As someone who's been grinding camos for years, I've got loads of these tricks up my sleeve that I'm happy to share. But for now, good luck with the challenge. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next one.